Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Are you feeling good? Because I'm feeling good. All right, got a little bit of energy today. So, we talked about Shador, we talked about Saquon. Now, we're going to talk about some other good guys. These guys are the really good guys. Not saying those other guys aren't, but these guys really, because they're young guys and they took a stand. And it made me proud because whether black, white, or any other race or ethnicity, you take certain stances on the side of being right. Listen, there's always going to be a gray line, just like this suit, right? There's always going to be a gray line, but there also is a right and a wrong. Just like sometimes you got a light, right? You got a green light, you got a red light, you got a yellow light, right? We all know that the right thing to do is to go through on the green light. But sometimes, what do some of us occasionally do? We occasionally go through the yellow light that we know is darn near red, and sometimes probably even a red light if you get caught like right there, like at the line where you're like, I need to go through, but I don't need to go through. I shouldn't go through, but I look this way, I look that way. There's no cops, there's no cars coming, pew, and I go through. So we all know there is. I'll give maybe 2% of the time that there's not, but we all know for the most part that there are perceptions of right and perceptions of wrong. So now let's think about it because we talked about earlier about Shador and not Shador, I'm sorry, Saquon and him going and playing golf and doing everything else, with the president. Once again, his own prerogative. He can do what he wants to do. But in this type of social climate, the thing that I am proud of is that Devonte Smith, AJ Brown, Zach Bourne, some of the other Eagles who were even released, and I'm pretty sure some of them were non-black players, but and especially Jalen Hurts, a lot of the skills position players did not go, and it's not by coincidence. It's not by scheduling. It's not by any of that. It's because they've chosen to take a stand. Now, the funny part is that all of them, even Jalen Hurts, went to not one but two predominantly white institutions. So it's not like he's like HBCU hard nose. I stand for certain things within the black culture. He actually went to Alabama, then he went to Oklahoma, from my knowledge, which are predominantly white institutions. Nothing wrong with that, right? Because he's playing football. The thing I'm saying is there are a lot of instances where you have guys that put a lot of the way they feel to the side for the corporate look or for the team look. But what these guys decided to do was say, hey, look, I'm going to stand on what I believe in. I'm going to stand on what I feel is right. I'm not going to go and go be in a sense a puppet for someone that really doesn't care for you or doesn't care for people a lot of times that look like you. And these aren't like things of like, oh well, you're just saying that you have no idea what you're talking about. Listen, it's been proven over and over again. Trump does stuff where he placates to celebrity, whether it's black celebrity, white celebrity, but as far as black people, black celebrity. He does not have one black person in his cabinet. Not one. But it's easier for him to tote around Saquon and say, hey, look, but also too, Saquon is a star. Saquon's a superstar. Saquon is a highly gifted athlete at the highest level. So, him walking around with Saquon and doing stuff, the optics may seem like, oh yeah, he's hanging with Saquon, who's a black guy. He could hang with anybody. No, it's that's not what the case is. And a lot of times people will say, well, black people a lot of times are always making it a race issue. Okay, well, In some cases, that could be the case. But let's see. So, what is the explanation for only 20 plus players showing up yesterday at the White House? And when you look at it, even when you look at staff and administration, as far as the Eagles are concerned, right, which I would assume is primarily non-black, right? What did you see? You saw over 30 players, up to 30 players, not show up. And these weren't just fringe players or special teams guys, no knock to the special teams guys, but these were bona fide superstars. A.J. Brown, Devonte Smith, now for what he did for us last year, Zach Bourne, Jalen Hurts. These are people who made significant contributions to the team last year. These aren't just like run-of-the-mill guys, right? All guys who are making, a lot of them making $20, $30 million plus a year salaries. So I really wanted to take the time out to give them a shout out because it is good and it's refreshing even to see people who make that type of money, who have that type of influence, still say, hey, listen, you know what? We stand together in unison. We stand together in unison to, because I even heard Saquon, or he wrote in there that he respects the office. Cool. That's his decision. But the office isn't like this desk or this camera that I'm talking to you in. Those are just objects. The office holds a certain person in the office, right? You're not just going to go work for somebody or stay at a job because you got respect for the job of the CEO or the job of the manager. No, these are interpersonal relationships. And Donald Trump has a bad interpersonal relationship with minorities outside of celebrities. There's been no visible, tangible proof that it's anything otherwise. So I just wanted to take the time. This is going to be a short one, but I wanted to take the time to just say to those guys, especially with them being, my home football team, favorite football team, that I'm really proud of these guys because they're all in their 20s. Most of them, I think, are all in their 20s. And, I'm sure a lot of people would want to go to the White House or meet the president, whomever he is. But what happens a lot of times with groups of people, especially younger groups of people, it's hard to get them to come together to take a stand. And the byproduct of it, he didn't like us anyway. He was rooting for the Chiefs. He had nothing positive to say about the Eagles because of when Malcolm Jenkins led the contingent for the Eagles not to go to the White House back in 2018. So he doesn't have any love lost for the Eagles. Even when he was talking yesterday, oh yeah, I talked to the Giants and told them, you better keep Saquon. The Giants came out today or yesterday and said they never had any conversation with Donald Trump, right? So it's always just fluff, lies. And even though this is minuscule when it comes down to bigger issues, but sometimes, you know what? This is where things start at. You have to have people who are willing to say, yo, I'm not going to go. But hey, hopefully the rest of the Eagles, they enjoyed their visit. And, from what I'm hearing, reports say that he's going to let the team he really wanted to win, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're coming to celebrate, I think, their post-COVID championship that they never got a chance to celebrate back then. Go figure, right? But hey, much respect to all of those Eagles that didn't show up yesterday. You showed that you are more than just guys that know how to run a ball. But we already knew that, right? Till next time, live life. Don't let life live you.